Good morning, school, and welcome to a new week. I hope you're now all settling back into remote learning as we enter the last half term of the academic year. And to Year 10 and Year 12, you'll be aware that we have plans in place for your return from Monday the 15th of June. Now, more information will be sent out to you and your parents today, and also we will complete, Mr. Hayden and I, a video outlining the process and procedure for your return later this week. Now, it's not just about what's going on, obviously, within your timetable lessons this half term. There are lots and lots of other opportunities that we hope that you're going to get involved with. Just some examples of that are obviously the virtual sports day that is running weekly, where you can obviously gain house points over the next 4 or 5 weeks. But other events like the longest day walk, which we hope you'll all get involved in. Very, very long running relationship with the village of Bugiri in Tanzania, which is where all the funds for that will go. So get friends, get family involved in that, a 10K challenge, which coincides with the longest day of the year. Thank you. With that, I'm going to pass over to Mr. Hayden.
Good morning, school. I hope this finds you and your families safe and well. I wanted to take a little bit of time this morning to talk about a very, very important issue. The killing of George Floyd in Minnesota has shocked us all, and of course it has shone a spotlight on matters of intolerance, injustice, race and discrimination. But this is not just an American issue. Like ripples in a pond, the consequences and effects have spread worldwide. And they've led all of us to examine and look at where we live now and how we live now. A number of you, quite rightly, have been in contact to say how you've been inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and have asked us, as a school, as a community, about our response. Now, of course, the quick answer, the easy answer, is for us to say, well, as a school, it goes without saying that we support the Black Lives Matter movement. We are committed as a community to equality, tolerance, appreciation of diversity, respect. These are our values. This goes without saying. However, while that's true, I think the question has to be asked is it goes without saying enough? There is, I think, sometimes a fear of speaking on matters like this in case we somehow say the wrong thing and end up causing offence. However, in this I think it's pretty clear. The worst possible thing we can say is nothing. I think if you hide in the security of silence, actually that can suggest complicity, disinterest, or even complacency. So let us be explicit. As a school, as a community, we fully support the Black Lives Matter movement, and our commitment to equality, to tolerance, to respect and diversity is unwavering. Words, however, are easy. It's action that counts. So the question has to be asked, how do we express and show our support? Well, we believe that education is key. Prejudice and discrimination is born from ignorance. And it's therefore important that we strive as a community to be as enlightened and educated about the world around us as possible. With that in mind, I've asked one of our Year 11 students, Muskaan, to give us a short introduction to the Black Lives Matter movement and why it's important.
Around the turn of the 20th century, the former Confederate state had adopted new electoral laws that marginalised black voters and many poor white voters in Alabama. Many new laws were passed after Democrats regained control of the Southern legislature, and racial discrimination was enforced in public facilities and retail stores in the South, including public transport. Bus and train companies enforced racial discrimination by introducing seating policies that separated sections for blacks and whites, and as well as this, school transportation became unavailable for students of colour in the South. This leads us to the 1st of December 1955, where Rosa Parks said no to a white bus driver who told her that she had to give up her seat in the coloured section of the bus when the white section was filled up, and when she refused, she was taken to the police station and booked. Once Rosa Parks was released from jail, her actions led to a boycott of the Montgomery bus system led by the black citizens of Montgomery, which ended up lasting 381 days. This boycott resulted in such a financial mess for the transit company that they repealed the law requiring racial segregation on city buses, and Rosa Parks became nationally recognized as one of the leading pioneers of the civil rights movement in America. Martin Luther King, born Michael King Jr., was an activist well known for being the leader of the civil rights movement and leading the boycott of the Montgomery bus system. King later became president of the SCLC and helped organize many nonviolent protests in Birmingham, Alabama. As well as this, King helped organize a nonviolent march on Washington in the same year where he delivered his well-known speech, "I Have a Dream." The following year, King won a Nobel Peace Prize for fighting racial inequality through nonviolent protests. On the 4th of April 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated, the cause of death being a gunshot wound, and following his death, there were many riots in the United States. Angela Davis was charged with aggravated kidnap and first-degree murder of the death of Judge Harold Haley. Peter Allen Smith released a warrant for her arrest, and not long after there was a massive attempt to find and arrest Angela Davis.
I hope that's given you some insight into why this is such an important topic. Unfortunately, if you watch the news, you will have seen footage of riots, looting, vandalism and violence. And we, of course, condemn this behaviour. We believe it's possible to support change and equality without resorting to violence, aggression and hostility. And one example of that, one example of peaceful and responsible action has been demonstrated by one of our Year 12 students, JJ. So we're going to have a short video clip here where he outlines his response to the Black Lives Matters movement.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay and I'm in Year 12. I'm here today to talk to you about ways of contributing to the Black Lives Matter movement and how I personally contributed, in hopes of inspiring or giving you some ideas as to how you can do so yourself. After admittedly struggling for quite a while to find my role in all of this, I made this painting. Like a lot of people of my generation, I'm not in a position to donate, so instead I find it's vital to find other ways of contributing to the movement, such as signing petitions or raising awareness. Not necessarily of the movement as a whole, as it's pretty impossible to be unaware of it due to the news or social media, but raising awareness of the stories of those individuals whose voices cannot be heard, not just from now, but from now on. In my painting there's a list of names, and it's a large list, but it's still only a fraction of the names that we know. Some of the names we do know, most we don't. I understand it can seem overwhelming or difficult finding your own role and way of contributing to the movement, as it's only natural to want to help other human beings, but it's easier said than done, finding your own way of making a contribution that's sincere. So I've compiled a list of links to help you on your journey to do so. Personally, I believe that education is the most empowering tool in all of this, as without educating yourself, you're unable to correctly inform others of the daily injustices and the changes that need to be made to our society in order to make a difference. I wholeheartedly encourage you to have those awkward conversations, talk to those older relatives who may not be on social media, go to protests when and if it's safe to do so. But please remember that being not racist is simply not enough. You must be actively anti-racist. Thank you.
It's now June 2020. We're about halfway through the year. And I think you could look back over the last 6 months at all the things that are going on and be discouraged and disheartened. However, I would say the fact that so many of you are thinking about and are passionate about these issues should actually give us great optimism and encouragement. The Black Lives Matters movement is a movement that celebrates tolerance, diversity, difference and equality, and that can only be a good thing. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Margaret Mead, who said, "Don't believe a small group of committed citizens cannot change the world. After all, it's the only thing that ever has." Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.